rate them, their performance in the state?
First and foremost, by the grace of God, I have been saddled with the responsibility of supervising or oversighting 3 commissions. You know, there used to be just 2 commissions before the advent of this administration. Mr. President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in his wisdom, decided to first create the Ministry of Regional Development, which was not existent before the advent of our administration. Why? As a direct response to the yearnings of many people across the country. Some are talking about regionalism, basing their arguments on going back to pre-independence and post-independence structures that had existed before now, and laying claims. Some believe that the best period of Nigeria's development was actually when Nigeria existed as a component of regions. Without breaching the words and letters of the Constitution, he created these commissions to give direct bite, take all the issues to the regions, in the sense that, okay, you think Nigeria advanced the most when Nigeria existed under regions. Okay, we now have commissions created to take care of all the issues in those regions without compromising or turning upside down the letters of the Constitution, since we currently operate a federal constitution. I'm just trying to give you a background how we even got here. So now we have 7 commissions, 4 in the south and 3 in the north. My colleague, Engineer Abubakar Momo, takes care of Southwest, South-South, NDDC, and the Southeast Development Commissions, while I have the responsibility of taking care of the Northeast Development, which is the pioneer in the north, NEDC, and which is the basis for your question. Now we have the North Central Development Commission and also the Northwest Development Commission. Back to the main question. Before the creation of the ministry, all these commissions now are under the ministry. They used to be under the 2 commissions that existed before, used to be under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Yes. And now they have been taken to the Ministry of Regional Development, where we're looking after them. Before I was appointed as minister and charged with the responsibility of overseeing NEDC as one of the commissions, I used to have the same notion that probably the commission existed to just merely, first of all, as an intervention agency, but we saw it from the outside as merely engaging in humanitarian outreach, providing food items and non-food items to disaster-prone areas, being the basis of the creation of the NEDC originally, the insurgency. But operating from the inside, you can bear me witness that you didn't follow us to all the places we went to, but at least you covered Taraba. We started from Bauchi. If you had followed us from there wouldn't have been the need for this question, because upon arrival in Bauchi, we first, I think less than 2 kilometers away from the airport, the first port of call was Bauchi Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Gudi campus, where we commissioned a fire station, complete with a fire truck and all other needed equipment for fire fighting. From there, we moved to GSS Bauchi, new GSS Bauchi, because the old GSS Bauchi had been converted into another institution, so they needed to build. It's a collaboration between Bauchi State Government and the NEDC. So the point I'm trying to make is, now that I see them as at close quarters, and I have the benefit of seeing their operations even before they take off at the conception level, and of course our relationship with them is some of the issues, like 2/3 of the projects we have from the ministry, are executed through the commissions. There is this Bricks to Bed program conceptualized by my team in the commission. The school we went to in Donga falls within the ambit of that program. The intention is to take 2 secondary schools from each senatorial zone that are in the worst conditions, to turn them around, take them to where they were at inception, and then hand them back to the school authorities. The last place we went to in Donga falls under that category. So, in summary, my opinion of the NEDC as the minister overseeing them is probably different, 100% different from what I used to think of them, because now I have the benefit of seeing firsthand what they do. They intervene from education, health, infrastructure, humanitarian, youth development, so many other things. And I would, if I have the time, I will explain to you many of the things that they do that people like you and my former I will know if only they are communicated. I will think they haven't been fair to themselves by not putting their activities out there in the public domain the way they should have. In summation, I would say that the NEDs, I'm satisfied with what they are doing. No agency of government is perfect. In fact, perfection is an attribute of God. To expect them to be perfect will even be blasphemous. So I would say that within the context of what I know and what I see as someone who supervises the ministry, I think the NEDC is doing tremendously well, delivering on projects that align with Mr. President's Renewed Hope agenda, which is our major platform of delivery of projects.
Okay. Honorable Minister, my name is Ahmadu right for the Sun newspaper.
Yeah.
You are not unaware that there have been a lot of controversies around the Namne Bridge, and there's been a lot of naysayers around trying to bring you in the whole picture. I don't want to go into the very details, but now work has commenced on the Namne Bridge. What do you have to say to the naysayers and to the people of Taraba generally?
As for the naysayers, I don't have anything to say to them. This is not arrogance or nonchalance. The only thing I would add to that is every responsibility assigned to humans come with corresponding obligations. If I wasn't minister, I wouldn't have had any business with the so-called naysayers you mentioned. My primary task is to ensure that we deliver on projects we have promised to deliver. And if in a state where you have over 2 million people, a battalion decide to be naysayers, we only pray that God helps them. But our attention and focus remains on the issues. What are the issues? The one you raise now is Namnai Bridge. Namnai Bridge collapsed more than a year ago. Incidentally, the first time I went there, unofficially though, I had some of your members on the entourage and we went there. Like I said, my focus is on delivering on the promises made. We have procured the job. You saw the contractors on site. You saw what they have started doing, and you had them promise on their delivery. The management of the commission, through the MD, spoke very well of what their plans are, what the project entails, and when they expect the contractor to deliver on the project. My concern is we've gotten the job off the ground. And by the grace of God, like the contractors promised, maximum a year. But I'm confident that they can deliver under a year. If we deliver the bridge project and people begin to use it, it eases the problem it was set up to do in the first place, I would have been satisfied. So that is my major area of concentration, not naysayers.
Yes, Minister, you've gone round.
Yeah.
Do we know the numbers of projects commissioned and handed over to the state government? Because you've gone to Zim, Donga, Jalingo, and Maigari.
I thought that should be your job as a journalist. That's my own is the one you saw me do, to inspect where is an ongoing project and to commission where it is a completed project. You just mentioned a few. You can do us more good by continuing all the way and counting all the places we went to, then carefully separate them. These ones are commissioned, these ones are ongoing, and then you go to print. That's your responsibility. But let me just help you out because you are my guest. We started with in Taraba, that is, commissioning of rehabilitation of medical and surgical wards of Zing General Hospital. And we went on to commission after, because we commissioned as one block of project, not separate. We also saw, you saw, and your members also saw the 4 blocks of accommodation for the medical staff of the hospital. You saw that. From there, we moved back to Taraba State University, where we commissioned the entrepreneurship building and the furnishing inside. We were supposed to have commissioned the MRI block at the Federal Medical Center. Coming back to the MRI, that reminds me, that is one very, very important project on the health sector of our targeted deliverables. Before now, in the whole of the Northeast, there existed only one MRI machine. Just imagine, between Taraba, Adama, and all, and it's located towards the end of the Northeast in Yobe State, which meant that if for any reason you and I had need for MRI services, what it meant was you will have to go to Yobe to access. I'm talking about federal government medical facilities, not private diagnostic centers. There existed only one MRI machine in Yobe State. So we looked at it and looked at the consequences of not acting. So we prioritized and immediately decided on getting MRI machines and some other machines, not just MRI machines. MRI is the biggest. In the first instance, 8, and are carefully located in all the states. So there, as we speak, there is an MRI facility in at least one MRI facility in all the states of the Northeast. And there are 2 states that have 2 already because of the numbers. The plan is to get 12 eventually, evenly spread. So now we have 8 already on ground. So before the machines are fitted, because it's not the kind of machine that will keep moving. It's supposed to be from the port. You don't take it anywhere but directly to its housing. So we needed to construct where they will house it. They will house them first. So when we went to Bauchi and Gombe, we commissioned that. I think we were supposed to have commissioned that, but it was dark before we rounded up. So as we speak, we have an MRI facility at the Federal Medical Center in Jalingo. That is a major achievement of this administration and the ministry through the commissions. No problem. Go ahead. I'm all yours. I was commissioner before, so no problem.
You mentioned, I think you were recorded by most ministry, state and federal government, of funding. How are you getting the fund to execute this program?
Maybe because you don't know that the commissions are not do not go through the normal budgeting process. Not like they are off the budget. No, so they like most commissions, they get their funds from the first line charge. What it means is that before the whole monies are distributed to all the small the other ministries, commissions like this, like the Population Commission and such other commissions, they have a column under which they draw their funds directly. The intention, like INEC, the intention is not to subject them to unnecessary bureaucracy and entanglement with the government, such that it will hamper on the execution of their mandate. So the NEDC and all other commissions fall within that category. But if, like the law says, all monies must first be domiciled in the Federation account, appropriated by those in charge, the legislature, before it gets to the beneficiary agencies. So they don't go through the usual envelope, the strict sense of it, because they are, like I said, they draw their funds from the first line charge. They don't have problems like most other places, and even the ministry. When you understand, when you know the budget, the budget is a process. It's not just one of something. We don't, in a nutshell, we don't have funding problem. Have you had them complain about funding? So I do not know of any problem that concerns funding for the commissions. They're fine.
Why I'm saying this,
Yeah.
this number
Yes.
you know, there was so much pressure on your commission.
Yes.
The state government said it is
Let me just help you out. I can see and I understand why you keep going back and forth on the Namnai, trying to yes, go around and surreptitiously get what you couldn't get on the table. There was just misunderstanding, a little misunderstanding, and I want to use this opportunity. On my honor, I wouldn't have said anything if you did not persist, and it is not. I want you to understand also that it's not your pressure. I conscientiously want to now just want to answer your question so that we put it to rest. There was a little misunderstanding. I wasn't around. I was somewhere on official duty when we had concluded on putting together. Projects don't just spring up in the morning and in the daytime you say they are no. You have to take them process by process, part by part. The commission had already decided to take up the project, the bridge project, and gone ahead to initiate the stages, get their people to do the initial assessments, engineering and like that. Before something happened, there was an incident somewhere, so the Ministry of Works was directed to take up all such places and deal with them, without knowing that the NEDC was already on the matter. So when it came up, they said that they had awarded the contract, or they intended to do the job, and we returned and collaborated. We spoke to ourselves. We explained to them that, okay, these people are already doing something in that direction. Rather than duplicate one job, let this one handle the job, then you go do something else. Like I said in the beginning, on my honor, I took the responsibility to go and meet the Minister of Works myself, so as to just clear out these issues. And what immediately came out of it was, okay, it's the responsibility of the Minister of Works to handle all federal roads and bridges and stuff like that. But since this is also an agency of government specifically set up for such interventions, fine, they go and do it. I went out of my way to request the Ministry of Works, rather than abandon the funds or return the funds they would have spent on the bridge, rather than returning it to the Treasury. I request, you can find out from the Minister of Works, I requested, please, rather than just return these funds, spend it in Taraba, so that now, instead of one, we have two jobs. So we got two jobs instead of one. Spend the money you would have spent on your side of the bridge in Taraba. And he asks where. I said, okay, the same road is in a bad condition. His immediate response as an engineer is the money meant for that cannot repair the road. I said, no, we'll be glad. Just start something there. We'll get our legislators in the next budget cycle to put their heads together and get funding to take it to wherever. Our intention is to take it to Katsina Ala, Taraba State's border with Benue. So we would have gotten the bridge and the road rehabilitated. That was my intention. That was my reason. That was my major verve and push for going ahead with that. And to the glory of God Almighty, that is what we have gotten. I want you to go and do all the findings. Follow it up. Go to the minister of. The minister himself took the pain of getting one of the reputable, the most reputable engineers assigned to the job, the road that is rehabilitation job. So as we speak, the Federal Minister of Works graciously, through my conversation with the minister, took up the responsibility of rehabilitating the job. Rather than get commendation, but I don't care. That is the price you pay for public office. Getting minions stepping into what ordinarily they wouldn't do. But I said in the beginning that I don't have problems, because if I wasn't minister, it wouldn't have happened. If I was here in my house as a private citizen, no one would have no one would have said anything about me or tried to hold me responsible for some things that ordinarily wouldn't have been mine. We've had situations where people wouldn't just bother, say, okay, this is not my responsibility, I don't care, consent. But, oh yes, but my fault is that I went the extra mile trying to take advantage of my leverage on, rather not take out leverage on my relationship with a colleague to get maximum benefit for my state. And that was my problem. I hope I've answered this enough, and I don't want to speak on one particular minor issue yet. There are broader and more important issues to deal with.
Prime Minister, it's common knowledge you are not the governor of Taraba State. By the virtue of your position, insecurity in Taraba should be a matter of concern to you. Communities in Musa, Takum, and Donga have been displaced in crisis. Does that bother you?
That is a cruel question to ask.
I think what he really wants to ask is
Don't be his mouthpiece. He has asked his question. The question is, does that bother me? Yes, it bothers me like every human being. It bothers me, and I'm sure even those of you that are not from Taraba State will be bothered, because security is not just one man's problem. You don't know when your relation will leave Benue and come to that area and fall victim. It has happened before. I'm not praying that something like that happens to you. But the answer is, it bothers me, it concerns me, all humans. No one will wish, and I'm sure it's the same with the governor, whether he is governor or not, no one will wish for such things to happen. So as a direct answer to your question, it bothers me, but I am not going to, you don't expect me to talk about security, whether the governor is doing this or not. I'm sure he is up to the task, especially with his background. And you can see, if you want to be honest and truthful to yourself and to Taraba State, you know that our security situation today is better than it used to be 3 years ago. So to give credit to whom is due, you know you stay here more than I do. You know whether the governor is doing well. But I think my opinion is he's doing tremendously well on security and all other issues.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
If you have anything bothering you, finish it now. Don't go and misquote me anywhere.